Hey, how can I help you?
I have a very, very unique piece of Beatles memorabilia.
Okay.
These are one-of-a-kind Beatle tickets for the movie A Hard Day's Night before there were any premieres. My brother worked on the ad campaign.
You know the part I love about this the most? Believe it or not, in 1964, those haircuts were risque.
It looks like Justin Bieber, who had a movie come out right after his career. That's all I'm saying.
The tickets are 50 years old. Other than showing a few girls my rare Beatle tickets, they have not seen the light of day. I'm hoping to get 800. After all, I did get them for nothing, so anything I make is a profit.
What is the movie about?
The movie, it was about the day in the life of the Beatles and girls chasing him around and dealing with record executives and a few things like that. And it was a cute little comedy.
It's the same story since the beginning of time. I don't care if it's the Beatles or Eminem, it's the same story over and over again.
But the thing is that this is when they first came out, and what happened was they ended up becoming one of the greatest, most iconic rock bands in the history of music. The Beatles, they had record-breaking sales, they were unbelievable songwriters, and that's why collectors still go nuts for anything associated with them. Starring in their first full-length, hilarious, action-packed film, The Beatles, A Hard Day's Night.
Are you trying to sound like Mr. Movie Phone or something?
Yeah. Okay. I love them. How much you want for them?
I'm looking for $800 for the pair.
Okay. This is a big problem with me, okay? It's different than it's for the movie. I can tell you that you can get Beatles tickets for their concerts for next to nothing. So
I think that that's a fair price. They were printed only for that show, and I believe there are no other tickets around like them.
I have no idea. I would like someone to look at it. I got a buddy, he works right down the street. He's like the #1 guy in the world about rock and roll memorabilia. If anyone can give me a price on these things, he can.
Okay, great. I was quite shocked that the younger gentleman in there was so disdainful of the Beatles. I mean, he compared them to Justin Bieber. I mean, how can you say that in the same breath?
Hi. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man.
How's it going, man?
Hey. I am the curator of rock and roll memorabilia for the Hard Rock Hotel in Las Vegas. I'm here because I know everything about rock and roll music for the last 60 years. What you got?
These right here, tickets to A Hard Day's Night.
Are we going? You taking me? Well, this is one of my favorite movies. This is the Beatles. This is just the bomb.
So do you know much about the tickets or anything else like
Of course I do.
that?
I've had lots of stuff like this. Not
But
exactly
not
this
this.
one. No, not this one. And I'll tell you why. I might call this a preview because it's almost a month before the movie premieres in America. It came out in London on 6th of July, if I remember.
Okay.
And like 12,000 people packed Piccadilly Circus trying to get a glimpse of the Beatles going to the premiere.
Okay.
So what are your concerns about these? What do you want to know about the tickets themselves?
Do you think these are real?
Well, let me take a quick look at them. Now, obviously, what's so great about this is the condition. You didn't fold them to put them in your pocket. I have not seen these from New York, but it's the same graphic used for the posters and things like that.
So you think they're 100% legit?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, no question about it.
So how much are they worth?
If these were the English premiere, they'd be worth a couple of grand. But I would say for the New York preview, $350 to $400 a piece.
Well, thanks, man.
Hey, anytime.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Next time, buy me coffee.
Okay, I will.
I have seen similar, and I've had them in my collection, but these ones were one of a kind. Well, he had two, so two of a kind.
Okay. He says they're worth $700 to $800. If I pay you $800, I'm not gonna make anything. Okay? If you want 400 bucks for them, that's what I can do.
I'll tell you, I think a fair price then would be, you still make a profit on it at about $650.
No, that's
You still make plenty of profit on it.
No, it's not. No, it's not. If you want $450, I'll go $450.
6. Can you do 6 on this?
I'll go
I mean, they are so unique. They really, really
They
are.
really are unique, but the thing is with the Beatles, there's a billion unique Beatles things.
Do 550 and we have a deal?
Nope.
5 1/4?
Nope. I'll go $500. $500 is a fair price.
Okay, deal.
All right. Write them up, son.
All right, man. Meet me over there, dude.
Okay. I feel okay about my final deal. I'll probably wind up taking my daughter out to dinner tonight with the money. I think I did right by it.
Hi, how's it going?
Amazing. What can I help you with today?
I brought today an original movie poster. It's the Beatles' 1968 Yellow Submarine.
The Beatles just weren't the Beatles, this big rock band. I mean, they were lunchboxes, they were socks, they were t-shirts, they were movie posters, they were movie stars. There wasn't a boy in America that didn't want to be the Beatles. And the Beatles aren't even from America.
Sure. I'm at the pawn shop today trying to sell my original movie poster, the Beatles' 1968 Yellow Submarine. I got the movie poster from my dad, who managed a movie theater in Oakland, California, and I've had the movie poster for over 50 years. I'm hoping to get $2,500 for it. This is an original movie poster, so I think that's what the value is.
This is cool. First off, let's start with the Beatles. I mean,
Yes.
the most iconic rock band ever, in my opinion. These were like the good boys of rock. You know, they came around, they made a lot of good music, and it was a lot of happy, psychedelic, kind of trippy music. The Yellow Submarine was a famous Beatles song that was later reworked into the title of their third and final movie. And the Yellow Submarine was about a psychedelic fantasy land called Pepperland that was being overtaken by some little blue creatures, and Pepperland needed to be saved, so they called upon the Beatles. Pretty cool, pretty iconic movie, and for the time, it was groundbreaking. It's in fairly good condition. Unfortunately, it has a few tears right in the meat of the picture right here, but the good thing about this, even though it has rips right here in the center, is you can make out everything about this picture. You could still frame this and it would still look great. So, do you have a price in mind you're looking to get for it?
Sure. I was thinking around $2,500.
Okay, so that's definitely more than I've seen these go for. It's just one of those things that in today's market, they're downtrending a little, but that's not to say that they won't uptrend. You know, it's just kind of the way things go. Taking all that in with the couple small little rips here, would you take $700 for it?
Could you do 1,000?
Would you go $750?
How about 800?
Oh, man. It's all in the mind, you know? Let's write it up. That's a deal.
Awesome.
Come on, $800, you got it.
I'm okay with what I was offered. I didn't make $2,500, but 800 is pretty psychedelic.
How you doing today?
How are you, boss?
I'm pretty good. What do you have here?
I have a bag 1 John Lennon lithograph autographed by John Lennon.
This is definitely cool. What this is actually a series of drawings that he did to commemorate his wedding. This was the wedding that people believe broke up the Beatles.
I'm at the pawn shop today to sell my John Lennon lithograph. This lithograph is autographed by John Lennon, and it's from the Bag 1 collection. I've had this lithograph for over 20 years, and I've kept very good care of it. If I can sell it today, I'd love to buy me a new big screen TV for my man cave.
This is actually a pretty cool piece of art. Normally, when you think of John Lennon, you think of the Beatles. Just the name John Lennon is iconic. But when you think of John Lennon, you don't always think about John Lennon, the artist. But before he wanted to be in a rock and roll band, he wanted to be an artist. And he developed this style of line drawing, and you'll see that in a lot of his work. Bag 1 was the studio that him and Yoko had opened up to sell these particular lithographs. Lithographs are created by etching an image onto a stone or metal plate, which is then covered in ink. A piece of paper is pressed on top, and when you peel it away, it leaves a picture like this one. There's 14 pictures in the actual series, and they did 300 of each 14, which were all hand-signed by Lennon. This was actually one of the more PC ones. I don't know if you've seen the other ones, but they get kind of graphic. This one looks to be numbered 149 out of 300. I do know when people collect the series, they want to get the lowest number possible, and that's right in the middle. How much are you looking to get for it?
I was looking to get $7,300.
Okay, I don't know if that's John Lennon's signature or not. The thing with John Lennon is that it's not particularly hard to replicate something like this. You know, there's no heavy detail. It's just literally line work. So I'd like to have someone come in, take a look at it, make sure that the signature's authentic. If that signature's authentic, then we know the drawing's good. It doesn't seem out of the possibilities that a hand-signed John Lennon could go for $7,300. So let me get someone down here to take a look at it, and then we'll talk about a price.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Give me just a minute.
Okay. I know it's a nice piece of art, and I'm welcome the expert to come in and look at it because I know it's an original, and I cherish it very much.
So, Patrick, this is what I brought you over for. What do you think?
It's pretty cool. What we have here is a lithograph of the actual moment that the Beatles broke up.
That's what they say, don't they?
This is the ring ceremony. There was actually a gift from John Lennon to Yoko Ono after their wedding. He wanted to commemorate their bed-in that they did on their honeymoon. It was a sort of a protest against the Vietnam War. They stayed in bed for days on end, invited press. They invited other people like Allen Ginsberg.
It's a cheap way to get a wedding gift. Just draw it for your spouse.
Well, he was a trained artist. He went to art school for 3 years before the Beatles. And this is definitely his style. You can see the gestural nature of just line art. Just pen and ink, pencil, that's all he did. Very simple, but pretty effective.
I did notice it's 149 out of 300. I don't know if that adds any extra value to it being lower in the series.
It's always better to be lower because the image is going to be a little bit stronger. Looking at the condition, if you look at the corners, it's actually in really good shape. I can tell by the frame that this was framed quite a few years ago. Looks like you kept it in pretty good shape.
I did keep it in good shape.
There is some water damage here, but overall, there's no creasing. This is as good as you can find them.
Okay, and how's the signature look? Does it look legit, pencil on paper, or?
Yeah, it looks exactly like it should.
So what kind of value does this have?
One from this series, in this condition, hand-signed, and a lower number, we're looking at about $8,000.
Okay, well, that's good news to me. All right, Patrick, well, thanks for coming in and helping me out. I appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime.
All right, well, Patrick had some good things to say about it. I'm sure you liked all that.
Yes?
Would you take $3,000 for it?
That's kind of low.
It is kind of low, but, you know, it does need a little love and care. Definitely have to reframe it.
How about 5,000?
How about 4,200?
Well, how about 46?
I could go 46 on it. That will still leave me enough room after I get it reframed and put it up for sale. 4,600, we got a deal.
Deal.
All right, let's go write it up at the counter.
Let's go.
I'm just gonna need to see that ID.
I'm glad I made a deal. I've had it for a long time, and now it's time to let it go.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good.
Back again, huh?
Yes, I am. I've got something pretty cool here. It's a concert poster from a band called the Beatles.
They were pretty big back in the day, right?
I came to the pawn shop today to sell a historical Beatles concert poster. As much as I love the Beatles, and I'd like to cash in on my piece of memorabilia, the least I would walk away with, probably like $200.
So where'd you get this?
I'm in a store buying furniture. I say to the guy, oh, nice poster. He said, you know what, I'll throw in the poster for you. The date is pretty significant. This was the last official concert.
This was around the time where John Lennon was comparing the band to Jesus. You know, there was people burning their albums. They had to break up because people just got tired of hearing from them. Paul and John, I mean, both their egos had gotten so huge.
Out of control.
And then you had Ringo, who just really didn't care. He was just along for the ride.
No comment on Ringo.
Yeah. The Beatles were only together for something like 10 years, and they're still the best-selling band in history. They actually had one last show before they broke up, but that was just a glorified rehearsal on a rooftop in London. This poster is from their last legit performance, and that's going to add a lot of value. The condition's fairly good in it. I mean, it's a little beat up, but kind of to be expected. The paper seems right. It's real, that's for sure. So this was in 1966. Ticket prices were $5, $6, and $7. $5 would be equivalent to like a $30 ticket. And remember, this is in the grandstands of Candlestick Park. You had to probably bring a pair of binoculars to see the band. There could be a lot of these posters out there, but that doesn't necessarily mean this thing is worthless. It's historic, it's in good shape, and it's the Beatles. If this thing doesn't sell in a week, I'll be shocked. What'd you want to do with it, my man?
I'd like to sell it.
Any idea of what you're looking to get out of it?
How much is it worth to you?
Every single shop in San Francisco had a ton of these.
Okay.
Is it rare? Yeah. Is it super rare? I wouldn't go that far with it. I'd give you 800 bucks for it.
I'll be honest, I was hoping a little bit more. Probably $2,000.
1,000 sounds a lot better.
Well, in that case, 1,500 sounds even better. What do you think?
15, huh? All right, man, you got a deal.
I didn't jump on the $800 offer. I could tell he appreciated what it was about, and I took a risk. Today was a good day for profit.
What do we got?
I've got some old Beatles bobblehead dolls.
Sweet.
These are my mom's from the 60s.
What's funny is I tell my dad that they're a boy band and he gets pissed off about it. But I mean, they're actually the definition of a boy band.
Right. I came to the pawn shop today to sell my Beatles bobblehead dolls from the 60s. There's a huge market for these because the Beatles have come back and made huge sales in the last 5 or 6 years. I'd love to get $1,500. I'm in Vegas. I need to run it up and see what happens.
Oh, they're pretty collectible, man. The thing with bobbleheads, though, is they've been around for almost 200 years. You know, I think they started in like the 1850s. Originally, they were like paper mache.
Oh, yeah?
And, you know, they're kind of cool. I mean, instead of just a normal statue, they kind of bring a little bit of life to it, you know?
The Beatles sold over $50 million worth of merchandise back in 1964 alone. And I know there's a lot of fans out there willing to pay good money for anything from the Fab Four.
I can see right now there's some condition issues. Down around Paul's bass here, you've got some marks. Ringo is missing a drumstick, it looks like.
But he's a drummer. That's what drummers do. To the ladies.
Got John Lennon here. Apparently had his head taped back on. Surprised it held this long, honestly.
The tape's an antique.
And what, George? Not much wrong with George.
George looks good.
And everybody's least favorite Beatle.
Any idea what you're looking to get out of them?
I'd like to get $1,500.
1,500? Okay. I know Beatles memorabilia always sells, but I'm just not sure what they're worth today. Let me have a buddy of mine come down and check them out. He's the curator of the Hard Rock Hotel here in town.
Oh, nice.
And he can give me a value of what these things are actually worth.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I'll be right back.
Sounds good. The worst thing that could happen with the expert coming in is if he drops the price crazy low, I am gonna be heartbroken.
What's up today?
Beatles bobbleheads.
Oh, I love these. I've been in the hard rock business for 30 years now, so rock and roll is my life.
I know these guys did just about everything in the world to make money. I mean, second only to Kiss, right?
Well, now the interesting thing is that Beatles didn't make a lot of money off their merchandise. Their manager gave as many licenses as he could to publicize the Beatles.
Okay.
It's a very American thing, bobbleheads. You know, you had them for baseball players and everything like that. So they were a big hit, and they're still very popular. So what do you want to know about them?
I know condition's everything on these, and Ringo's missing drumstick can be the difference between $100 or $1,000. I don't know where the hell that lies.
Well, you got it right. With any of these things, it's about condition and whether you have the box. Do you have the box?
Maybe stayed in the same shoebox for 30 years, whatever, but no, the box is long gone.
Sorry, the shoebox is not worth any money. And they're in used condition. A little dusty, and there's paint loss down here. And Ringo's missing a stick. The condition you'd expect to, well, he's 50 years old or more.
Yeah, you got an idea of what they're worth?
Drum roll, Ringo. Drum roll.
One drum.
If you had them today, perfect in box, probably these days are going for about $1,000 for the perfect ones.
Okay.
So I think the highest retail on this would be about $450, and maybe even less.
Jeez. Oh.
Work, man, I appreciate it.
All right. Again, sorry to let the air out of your balloon.
Thank you.
All right. For the ones with dirt on them and chipped, they're not a great investment. $450 is about the highest you'll expect to sell them for if you put them into an auction.
So, you heard what my guy had to say.
$1,500 is where I was at. I could go down to like 800.
I'd offer you like 200 bucks.
You know, we named my daughter Lucy after Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. My family would kill me if I let them go for $200 because we have Beatles in our blood.
I mean, that's the most I can go, dude.
It doesn't make sense for me to sell them at $200 knowing the market's going to climb.
Well, no one knows if the market's going to climb, man.
I can't go any lower than $600.
Buddy, it don't look like we're going to make a deal, man.
Yeah.
All right. I appreciate it, man.
Hey, man, I
Hold on
appreciate
to
it too.
it.
Thank you.
Maybe they'll be worth some more one day.
Hopefully. Corey offered me $200, and I could not accept the deal. They're just worth more than $200.